You wouldn't choose to live in an area just because the golf course was close by, would you? Well, I did. Here's why. If you're a golfer and you're living in Utah County, Alpine Highland market area is the best place for you to be because there are 6 golf courses within a 15-minute drive from my front porch. 2 of them are private courses. Alpine Country Club, which is the closest to me, it's about 8 minutes away, and Riverside Country Club's in Provo, about 20 minutes away. But right around the corner from Alpine Country Club, you have Cedar Hills Golf Club and Fox Hollow. Those are fun courses. And then just up the road from there, you have Johnny Miller course that has a higher end quality of golf, a little bit more difficult, called Thanksgiving Point. And then just over the mountain from Alpine, on the bench of Draper, is South Mountain Golf Course. Then we have Riverbend, which is in Riverton, a little bit further away, but not far. Sleepy Ridge, which is in Vineyard. That gets us to 7, all within about a 15 to 20-minute drive. They're a lot of fun. I'm going to go course by course on the pros and cons of each one of these courses, and maybe the one you might want to move near. As far as if you want a property that is adjacent to or backs up to a golf course, there are a few sneaky ones out here that you'd be surprised that you can live on a private golf course for not too much. So here's the thing. Alpine Country Club, it's a gorgeous course. But here's the part I really like about it. If you're looking to be in a home that backs to a golf course, I think you'd be hard pressed to find one that has access to homes that are within a reasonable median price range. Um, there are properties available within the Alpine Country Club neighborhoods that back to the golf course that range from $700,000 to $800,000 that are on the traffic side of the street off the SR 92, to, I mean, there's a couple of $3 million homes that back up to the interior of the golf course, but there are homes that are all within there. There's one right now that's probably about $1,350,000 listing that is right near the entry gates. Whereas if you look at Thanksgiving Point, the homes that look over the golf course, unless you're in a townhome, and even those are $600,000 to $700,000, most of those homes are a little bit more expensive and pricey, and there's not a lot of properties on the golf courses. In general, most of the golf courses throughout Utah County, with the exception of Sleepy Ridge, tend to not have a lot of homes available to live up against a golf course. The layout of the course, the length, the views, the difficulty rating, how you can play the course is top notch. The con at Thanksgiving Point is price point, and there's sand traps. Whenever there's any moisture, rain, snow, watering, uh, the water turns sand traps into either a hard pan or a big cakey mess. The kind of person that wants to play Thanksgiving Point or live around Thanksgiving Point is probably somebody who is going to be working in the Silicon Slopes area. We get a lot of corporate players out there, meaning that their company has purchased uh, a membership to be on the tee sheet. And it's close to restaurants, it's close to work. So there's a lot of guys out there that will break off of work early that live or work really close by. So it's a little bit more of a corporate course at Thanksgiving Point. Cedar Hills Golf Club is you're going to see more golfers there that are your younger professional that's kind of just breaking into their career. They maybe started golf around COVID. They are serious about their game. People that live around Cedar Hills are also young professionals, younger families. There's a great array of homes there from uh, new construction, townhomes, to older homes where you can still get into a home under $500,000, and you're right there in the neighborhood of that Cedar Hills area. It's a really underrated market area for people to be buying homes in. I'm surprised more people aren't getting started in the Cedar Hills, Pleasant Grove market area. There's a lot available, a lot to like there, and a lot that allows you to move up to the next level of home. So you can get started there and move up and still stay within the same neighborhood. Sneaky, really cool spot, Cedar Hills. It's close by to Alpine and Highland. It's up against the mountain, but the whole front nine plays down in the valley. There's a great number one hole that flies down over. Everybody grabs their driver because they think they're going to hit the green. I promise you, you're not, unless you can carry it 310. You're going to end up in trouble. Do yourself a favor, hit like a 5 iron or your hybrid and get yourself into a wedge going in. The course is really well laid out. It allows you to open into your round if you play it right. There's beautiful views of American Fork Canyon, beautiful views of Mount Timpanogos and the amphitheater of mountains around Alpine. Um, when you get up on the backside, you'll have views of the whole valley and Utah Lake. The greens are usually in probably the best shape all season long of any public course within the top six. That even better greens than Thanksgiving Point. Um, they roll. I mean, last year they were rolling around an 11 pretty consistently. Um, a really great course. The only negative I have, and it's nothing the course can do about it, is when they first built it. Well, there's two cons on Cedar Hills. They built two holes that go up on the hill on the mountain. So you're having to hit on a side hill lie. So if you have trouble, if you're a senior golfer, if you have trouble walking on severe angles, those two holes are going to be miserable for you because you have to park your cart out up off the cart path that's on the high side of the hole and then walk down to a side hill lie. So that'd be a con. Number two con is because of the way it was built, there's no there's no turn there. The turn, it just goes from hole 10 to hole 11, and there's no food or snacks, and there's not a cart person out there because it's a city-owned course and they don't have the financing for it. Okay, after that, I'm going to say Sleepy Ridge. Sleepy Ridge is more consistent with a kind of Southern California golf course where there's houses that basically border the entire fairway of pretty much every hole of Sleepy Ridge, except for maybe a few on the back nine. Great course. Uh, it gets played really heavily throughout the winter months, so it tends to not get enough time to heal. It tries to play as a links course, but it's not a links course. The back nine actually sneaky really pretty because it backs to the Utah Lake and the water comes up pretty close, and so there's reeds and a lot of animal life. You'll find some guys out fishing off the side of probably hole 13 and 14. The greens are really undulated on a lot of holes. So, and not unlike Thanksgiving Point, they're not like 2 to 3 greens put together in one green. So you can shoot to a certain area and roll it. They're actually, the whole green is just really super undulated. Pro tip on that course, before you're putting, go over to the hole, keep an eye on where the grass is bending toward the hole because it will snap off on some of those hole shots. Yeah, so Sleepy Ridge is young families that live in the area, college students that are maybe living and renting houses out together. There's also a lot of condominiums and townhomes in that area. As a result, Sleepy gets a lot of those types of players too. Fox Hollow comes in at number 4 because a few years ago, the greens got some mold in them. As a result, if you don't play early in the morning right after they roll them, your putts are going to move 3 to 4 different ways before it goes anywhere near the hole. Also, because it's an old-timey locals course, you tend to have a higher handicap slash no handicap slash I'm out there in my jeans. Shirt may or may not be on depending on how hot it is. You get the point. Kind of a player out there. So a duck and cover attitude is definitely necessary. So if you're out there on a Sunday afternoon, it could be a 5-hour round because there's going to be some kids and their girlfriends, and they're going to be hitting 3 to 4 balls at a time, and you could catch one a stray coming right across your face. The track though is really fun. Like the holes are cut through. You got to clear around trees. You got to shape a shot. You can play it pretty long. Uh, it's always a fun day. Just beware of the tee sheet and be ready to duck if you hear anything that sounds like 4. Fox Hollow is the most like I grew up on at Riverside Golf Course in Fresno, California. Fox Hollow reminds me of Riverside. It's kind of it's an older course. It's a locals kind of vibe to it. If you're down with the locals vibe, they're down with you. Folks that live in American Fork, Lehi, that have lived there their whole lives, and so that vibe's really kind of homey. But it could also be if it's not your if those people aren't your people, then you might not feel real comfortable there. But I love them to death because I'm just kind of a hometown kid myself. Coming in at number 5 is Riverbend. Also, you're dealing with the wind, but it's a really fun course. It's a little bit older. It's pretty wide open. So if the wind catches you and blows you over to off the hole you're on, it's not as penal. You're not going to you can go and find your ball and still try to get on the green in regulation. The greens are spotty depending on the time of year. It's a Salt Lake County course, so they don't get the funds they really need to keep that up throughout the year. And sometimes it could be a little dry, and sometimes the greens can get a little bit beat up. As a result, they try to do their best to punch and sand them. And so call before you head out there and see if they've sanded within the last week, because if they have, then it's going to be kind of a grainy day for you and not that enjoyable. So that's one of those. Both South Mountain and Riverbend are Salt Lake County courses. They don't get funded as well as they need to be. So call before you go out there to make sure that they're not punched. Riverbend tends to get people that are in Salt Lake County that live throughout Salt Lake County that want to play the best Salt Lake County course for the price, and that's Riverbend. I think you get people from anywhere that are playing Riverbend, and they can come in from kind of anywhere. You can see my face when I say South Mountain Golf Course. It's not one of my favorites, but it can be a lot of people's favorites. It's just not one of my favorites. Here's why. I don't like South Mountain. South Mountain Golf Course it's pretty, but it's on the South Mountain. The whole thing is on a slope. So you have to create a shot to land on a area, and then even if you hit that area, if you hit a dry spot, it could bounce all the way down the hill and then you're lost your ball. So if you're going to go to South Mountain, you're definitely going to need a cart, and you're definitely going to need a couple dozen balls. And that's even if you're a single digit handicap, because you're going to hit a great shot on the right side of the green, and it's going to slope and fall over to the left side of the green into the trash in someone's backyard. The other thing about South Mountain I don't like is it's windy. It's always windy. And you could have either a pitching wedge into a par three if it's blowing with you, or a driver on the same par three if it's blowing against you. It frustrates me because you could be having a great round and then hit a great shot and it will roll right off, and then you have a penalty, and then you're not going to get up and down because the greens slope so heavily that your ability to get up and down and try to save a penalty shot doesn't exist, and so you're going to put a double bogey on your card right then and there. Just plan on it. South Mountain typically are folks that live in and around the Draper Bench area that don't want to be members at Hidden Oaks or come over the mountain to Alpine Country Club. They're usually doctor, lawyer, corporate folks that like to like self-flagellation and beat themselves up. They don't like themselves very much, and so that's why they play South Mountain. I'm gonna eat shit for that one, but I don't care. I'm keeping it.